Trading foreign exchange stocks, options, or futures on margin carries a high level of risk. It may not be suitable for all investors. Before deciding to trade or invest in anything, really, you should carefully consider your objectives, your own personal financial situation, your needs, and your level of experience. The speakers on Traders on Trend and the Summer Summit Market provide general advice. In other words, this is not specifically made for you. Sorry, Timmy, we're not actually giving you advice. We're giving advice to the general population, and you have to kind of take it amongst yourself into your own life and your own financial situation, your own objectives, and see if it fits for you. Okay, so there's our disclaimer. It's up front. We highly encourage you guys to stop and read this for a moment. It's also inside all the emails. It's inside our website. So we keep it pretty upfront and everything for everybody. And now let's talk about Marina a little bit. Now, before I tell you about Marina and read this part that's on here right here, I'm going to tell you that Marina kind of lives the dream for a lot of us. And maybe she'll mention it in her presentation, or maybe she doesn't. I don't know. But Marina kind of lives the dream for a lot of us. She no longer lives in the United States. Her and her family just kind of move around everywhere, and she trades all over the world. So she was living in South America. Now she's living in Europe, and she's living like this enviable life that most of us would love to have. Marina is AKA, also known, the Trader Chick. And as you can see, she's got a hat on in this picture. And she specializes in helping people day trade with confidence and with ease. And I will absolutely testify, check mark number 2. She simplifies the process by breaking down the art of identifying high probability trade setups. When Marina talks, everybody in the room understands what she's talking about. Whether you're a beginner or experienced, Marina can teach you to day trade profitably and read the markets like a pro. Now, today, we're going to experience the amazing simplicity of Marina's approach to day trading. We're going to learn a little more about the Trader Chick. Visit her later at thetraderchick.com. I hope that was a good intro, Marina. Good to see you again.
Oh my God, that was such a great intro. Really, you guys, even like, I know that right now you're presenting live, but even your emails, all the emails you guys send, they're just so heartfelt. Yeah.
A robot does that for us.
No way. You can tell it's not an AI thing. It's really
it's
heartfelt.
John GPT.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so well done. And the intro is amazing. Thank you. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it. I'm actually excited. Yeah, because actually the very first one we did, I just moved to Spain. I think I was here for like a week, right? Or something like that. It was
I don't even think you were there that long. I think you were there for a couple of days, I think, yeah?
Yeah, it was like brand new. So now it's going on 4 months, which is still technically new, but at least now I'm like settled in. So it's great. Well, I'm happy to be back. Let me share my screen with you guys.
It's all yours.
Hang on a moment here. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, hang on a second here.
I see your little silhouette with a hat on.
Okay, do you see me sitting down somewhere now?
You are sitting kind of thumbs up, red shoes.
That's me. Okay, well, hi everybody. So thank you again. I am Marina, the Trader Chick, and I am incredibly excited to be here today. And just like I was presented, I absolutely love questions. I love questions, and the whole point of me being here is for me to answer all of your questions, okay? Because yes, we're here to learn something new, and I always tell my kids, if you learn the one thing that you could take and go with you right after this presentation, awesome. But we're also here because we're probably seeing some sort of a challenge or a struggle, and usually questions and being interactive really makes a difference. So I promise to answer all of your questions. So definitely ask everything. And I always say, you know, trading, it's not a spectator sport. You got to get in it. You got to ask questions. You got to actually do stuff. Sitting in the sidelines won't get you too far, right? So that's kind of the goal. But before I get started, I want to know, where are you guys coming from? Because there are so many people in the room. Where are you all coming from? I'm sure that it's like a super cool international crowd. So find your, hang on a second. Find the chat box, the question box, either one, and let me know where you guys, Europe, which part of Europe? Europe is huge. Scottsdale, Arizona, awesome. All right, Slovenia, Roman, nice. Mike, you are from Calgary. Sophia, you are from Scottsdale. I love Arizona, by the way. Michael, you're in central New York. Which part of New York? I grew up in New York. I was raised in New York. I was raised around New York City, but I also studied in many universities around New York. Dover, Pennsylvania. Ah, Buenos Aires. Very cool, Javier. Welcome. And let's see, Sasha from Manitoba, Canada. I'm putting a Spanish accent for no reason there. Rob from Garden Grove, California. All right. Wow. We've got more people from Los Angeles, New Jersey. Sushi Jones. Wow. Is that your name? That's a pretty cool name. You're stationed in Singapore. Lucas is in LA. Paul is New Jersey. Thomas is Rhode Island. So I have to be honest with you, Rhode Island is one of my very favorite states. I studied in Providence, Rhode Island. And for such a tiny state, I think it offers absolutely everything you need. It's one of my absolute favorite states. Terry, Central Ohio. Cool. So the majority of people are kind of from the United States. Dimitri, you are from Sofia. Where is that? I'm not sure. Michael, the Finger Lakes. Oh, okay, cool. So when my mother retired a few years back, the big trip that my father and her took were to go to the Finger Lakes area. They absolutely love the Finger Lakes. They've been there several times. Toronto. Nice, Chandra. I love that. I love Toronto. Paul from London. Wow. So we do have a really international crowd, mainly US and Europe, right? Wine. What is that? What do you mean wine? I don't know. Is that a place, a drink? I don't know. Today, everything has a name, right? All right, guys. Well, I want to just say hello and welcome. And I am so grateful. Oh, the Finger Lakes wine. Gotcha. The wine. Yes, yes, yes. So one thing about trading and about these summits is that we can talk with so many cool people, right? And the fact that you guys took your time to be here with us today, it's such a big deal. And I'm so grateful. Like, really, time is our biggest commodity, right? Money is not. Time is. And the fact that you took your time here to be with us today, super grateful and super appreciative. So let's have some fun. This is me, Marina, the Trader Chick. And today I want to talk to you guys about the basics. I know you're like, oh my gosh, the basics, but here's the thing. A lot of times, and I find the most, especially in the financial markets, is that the basics are overlooked, right? Because there's absolutely there's no barrier to entry. All you technically need is a little bit of money and you can just go into the markets. But there's a whole structure. There's so many things, right? You can't be putting in your windows without having a wall built in first, right? So I want us to build on and make our walls a lot more solid. And that's what I'm going to be talking a lot about today, so that we can really solidify that foundation so that we can add on and go bigger. And I can guarantee once you have that foundation, your trading, your investing will definitely go to that next level. And that's the coolest thing about the basics, right? And they're also simple. That's the fun part about it, is that it's simple. So before I do go into my presentation, I want to just give you a kind of an informal, fun intro to who I am. Because one thing that a lot of us forget, especially when we're sitting in front of those charts, and a lot of times they can be quite stressful, but we bring ourselves to those charts, right? It doesn't matter what's in front of us. We could totally know the patterns and understand this and that, but we still bring ourselves to it, right? So who we are is really all that is important, and how we put it into reading those charts and the markets is really comes through who we are as a person, right? So it's important to know who we are. And this is me. I am Marina, the Trader Chick. I am an expat mama, and now I live in Barcelona, Spain. So I literally moved here 4 months ago, but I have actually been an expat for over 20 years. We have first lived in Costa Rica, then we lived in Guatemala, and now we just recently moved here. And I do get a lot of people asking me questions, how to become an expat and whatnot. And I'm absolutely happy to talk to you guys all about it, because I've been an expat for the most part of my adult life. My kids have been raised in other countries, but we can do that all through an email so that it's really specific. And I'm really happy to help you guys with that. I know a lot of people have these aspirations of becoming expats or just moving to different countries. So that's the coolest thing about being an expat, is that you could trade in any part in the world and you could be an expat. So you can email me, thetraderchick@gmail.com, and I'm happy to talk to you guys all about being an expat. Okay. Another thing is, before I became a day trader, I was actually a fitness instructor and a travel writer. And the main reason I bring this up is because a lot of people have this misconception that you have to have either a financial background, a math background, or some sort of a background that has nothing to do with trading. I mean, that has a lot to do with like that industry, but it's not true. Totally, totally, totally not true. Anybody can be a day trader. Anybody. I was a fitness instructor. You don't need to know any math. I was a travel writer because we do travel so much. I actually still have my travel site that is still, it was my baby online before I became a day trader. I became way before I became a trader, educator, a financial educator as well. I also speak 3 languages, and it's not for you to be like, oh wow, how cool, because the reason why I do bring this up is mainly because of the process that I was able to go through when I learned my 3rd language. So I am a Soviet Union refugee. I moved from the Soviet Union to the United States when I was really young. So Russian is my mother tongue, but English is my main tongue. And I arrived to the US when I was 6. So when I wasn't actually learning a new language as much as I was just learning how to speak. So when you're small, you know, learning a new language is really quite easy and it kind of just goes with the process. But I learned Spanish in my later years. I was in my late 20s when I learned Spanish. And there's a whole process that goes with it, right? You have to be very disciplined. You have to be committed. You have to practice a lot. It's really helpful when you have somebody that is patient with you to be able to help with that, right? But it's a process. And there's a lot of translation and a lot of understanding and a lot of mulling in your head until one day you wake up and boom, you just speak the language, right? I'm not completely 100% fluent, but I could certainly, you know, hold my own in any conversation. But it took time. And one thing that I recognized when I was really struggling with the markets, and I was struggling for quite some time, I decided to look at it from a different perspective and started to look at it from the perspective of, could this be similar to learning a new language? And when I started to look at the market as though it is a new language, everything changed for me, because then I started to look at it, read it, understand it, and also bring in the same discipline I brought into learning Spanish. And that changed everything for me. And the coolest thing about trading, guys, you can literally do it from anywhere in the world. Okay. I get this question a lot because I lived in Guatemala in Central America for so long. Oh, but how's the internet there? And I always used to say, you know, sometimes when I visited my parents in New York, my internet would be crappier than there was in Guatemala. Today, there's really no excuse about the internet situation. There's great internet everywhere, everywhere, right? So you guys could get out there and you could trade anywhere. That is the most beautiful part of it all. And before COVID struck, I actually used to do quite a lot of live presentations. I used to do a lot of money show and Traders Expo. But with COVID, I did realize that being on these online summits really allows me to speak to a lot more people all over the world. And it's just a really, really cool thing. So before we go into the presentation, I actually have the presentation for free, completely for free for you. Go here, makingofadaytrader.com, and you can download the presentation and go along with it as well. Makingofadaytrader.com. Just go here, download it, totally free, and then we could go through it. Plus, you know, you want to take your time and you could then review it on your own. So before we jump in, let me just look really quick. Oh, there we go. Привет. There's Dimitri. Привет. Let me see here if I missed any questions. As a beginner, where would to study become profitable? Awesome, Mari. I'm actually 100% going to be covering all of that, so you guys will be able to fully follow along. Oh, there's 2 places for questions here. As a beginner, where would you switch? Oh, okay, I see that. Okay, Mari, I think I just responded to that. And now let's jump in. First of all, what in the world is day trading and why is it not investing? So here's the most important thing. Unlike investing, day trading, you do not want to diversify. Okay, I'm going to say this again because if anything, like I said, if you even get one thing that you can go and apply right away, I'm hoping that this could probably be your most important one. You don't want to diversify, right? So imagine your child coming up to you and saying to you, hey, mama, hey, papa, I want to learn how to play a musical instrument. And you're like, okay, cool. Which instrument do you want to learn how to play? And they'll be like, well, I want to learn how to play the violin, the flute, the harpsichord, and the drums. And you're looking at them and you're like, they're so different, right? Why don't you just choose the one, learn that one, master it, and then we can move on to the next one, right? Because they're different, right? Look, Liberace, love him, hate him, judge him. I don't care what you guys think of him, but we all could 100% agree that he was absolutely brilliant on the piano. He was a master on the piano. I can also guarantee if he picked up the guitar or if he picked up the violin, he'd probably be pretty good at it. He's just got that musical thing about him. A lot of people, when they come to me, when they want to learn how to trade, they usually say they want to learn how to trade stocks, futures, options, all of these. And I always tell them, the more you want to learn to trade, the more money you're going to lose, because the more focused you become, the more you can really get it right, and the more money you can start to earn. And funny enough, after they learn how to trade that one instrument, whichever one they decide to choose, and we will talk about that in a bit, it's amazing how many of them don't want to move on to another thing, right? Some people do, because some people like variations or there's different times of the day. But it's really interesting how people first begin to want to do everything and narrow it down to one or two. So that's really important. Also, investors, they really care about the companies they're investing in, right? For instance, let's say Apple, right? If I'm investing in Apple, I wouldn't care. I'm going to care about their iPhone 15, about their new generation iPads. But if I'm day trading, I don't care what they're going to do in 3 months, because I'm only looking at what's happening right in front of me. And if they're not doing well that day, then I'm going to be shorting them. If they're going to be doing really well that day, I'm going to try and go long, right? We don't care at all what the market is doing, if it's flying up or if it's tanking, because we make money either way. Okay, so that's the most important thing between day trading and investing. And I'm going to go into it a teeny bit more so you guys could really understand the reason. But before we do, before anything, there are limiting beliefs that cloud us, that drain us, and not permit us to move forward. Before we go into the actual process, I want to bust those myths, bust those limiting beliefs, so that you guys don't worry about them as much, because I know a lot of times it really puts obstacles in front of people to do that. So first things first, the biggest one you hear all the time is that day trading is gambling. Okay, let me give you this example. If you decide that you want to be a pilot, are you going to wake up the next day, invite your entire family, put them in the airplane, and go flying without having any idea? No. And if by any ridiculous, miraculous chance that you do take off, you're not going to land. It's a suicide mission, right? So it's the same thing, same concept. Sometimes people are like, oh, I want to invest or I want to trade, but they don't ever put in any time to learn, because we understand person who wants to be a pilot, they have to go through pilot school, they have to go through simulation hours, they have to go through hours with their tutors or whatever, their instructors, right? Before they could actually fly solo. Think of your money as your family members, because technically you're feeding your family members, you're having a good time with your family members with that money, right? Do you want to take your hard-earned money and just put it in the market blindly? Absolutely not, right? Why? Because you don't know what you're doing. That's gambling. So the minute you start to learn a strategy, have a trading plan, really understand what's going on, there's very little gamble. And you're going to be telling the market where you want to enter and when you want to exit, right? So you're removing that gamble, that risk. Another massive, massive thing that I'm constantly hearing people say, oh, you need $25,000 to get started. Total lie. You can start with like $100, right? $500, depending on the market that you want to go into. So where did this $25,000 myth even begin? It's mainly in equities, and it's mainly the broker is telling you that you need this much money to give you a margin account. Now, put a massive pin in that margin account, because I'm going to really go into it. But one thing I'll tell you about a margin account, it's loan sharking. You don't ever want to be part of a margin account. So if you don't want to do a margin account and it's not obligatory and it's not mandatory, you don't need $25,000. You could get started, like I said, $100, $200, $500, right? You don't need that kind of money. The other big myth is you need to be a math whiz and have financial background. No, you don't. I don't have a clue about math. I use a calculator for everything. The only time I need any kind of math skills is to calculate my profits or to calculate my losses. Nothing else. There is absolutely no math involved. And you don't need any financial background at all because it's all technical analysis. It's all what's going on in front of you on the chart. And the other big math myth is that it's stressful and chaotic. Well, if you're going to look at this, come on, guys, this is so not sustainable. I don't even know where this comes from. This is such a lie. I have one chart, one laptop chart. That is it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this show. It's a really funny show. It was an old show. It's called The King of Queens. And the main character bought himself, this was like 20 years ago, bought himself this 96-inch square inch TV. And he has this TV room. And back then, this is direct TV before all the live streaming. And so they're sitting in the room and he's flipping channels, like 1,000 channels. And one of his friends is like, stop, you are going to trigger my epilepsy. This is going to trigger anyone's epilepsy. This is super unsustainable. This is not reality. Whoever is telling you that they've got this going on, talk to them in a year because it's never going to happen and they're not going to be trading anymore. Okay. And the other thing is, oh my goodness, this whole ridiculous thing that you need the latest software, you need the latest indicator, that you need to be up with the algorithms. Look, guys, what you do need is you need a really good, strong, solid charting platform. Absolutely. You cannot be a Formula One driver in a minivan. You need the proper vehicle. That proper vehicle is going to give you amazing indicators that are free with it, right? You do not need to update different softwares. You do not need to buy algorithms. I say the only people that are actually making money from all these indicator softwares and algorithms are the ones selling it to you. Nobody's winning with them. You do not need that. So you do not need to be on top of that. And the other thing is the research and news. Oh my God. The amount of people, especially in equities, and I hear they wake up at 4:30 in the morning, do all this research, then sit all day with the news blaring all over the place, watching their charts. Afterwards, they're doing more research. Are you kidding me? That sounds horrible. I want to shoot myself just thinking about that. You don't need any of that because the people that are talking are all there for their own agenda. I actually call it telenovela melodramas, right? Because they're all giving you some sort of a agenda, and the only people really benefiting from it are them. But if you know technical analysis, you know how to read the charts, you don't need to read or do any of this market research. It's a waste of time. And the other biggest thing, especially for day traders, is there's this misconception, and I was a complete victim of it, completely, I'll take full responsibility, that you need to be in and out of trades all the time, that it is this non-stop action, this trigger happiness. Total lie. Totally untrue. I remember at one point when I was sitting for 2-hour sessions and had like 40 to 60 trades. It's crazy, ludicrous. If I was winning at all, I was still getting completely demolished in the commissions, right? Until I realized that pro traders, real pro traders, they are like hunters, like big game hunters. I don't condone hunting, but they are like big game hunters, right? A big game hunter will not go out and shoot at any prairie dog or porcupine or little game. They will sit and they will wait for that big game. When you have a strategy with a very high probability trades, you're only going to do maybe 1 to 3 trades at most, right? Because it's about the high probability trade versus the quantity. It's the quality. In this case, 100%. And I always say the most radical way to trade is conservatively, because aggressively, you will end up losing aggressively just the same. And small profits daily, they are the ones that bring you those big profits yearly. Okay, that's consistency. That's being a real professional trader. And I coined this term, FOMAT. You guys have heard of FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Well, here's the real deal. FOMAT, fear of missing a trade. Guys, this is a real thing. It is a real thing. Fear of missing a trade. Okay, look, if you're starting to see a trade that you think you're about to miss, you start to chase it. Boom, you're already in an emotional trigger. All of a sudden, you're chasing that trade. It goes in the wrong direction. You get stopped out. Now you're revenge trading. Here's the thing: there is always another trade coming. There's always another trade coming. Always another trade coming. If that's going to be your mantra, then let that be so. There's always another trade coming. If you see that you're missing a trade or you are chasing a trade, stop right there, because that's an emotional, irrational way. Get out, breathe, and wait for that next valid trade, because it's coming. Here's the thing: what to trade. Like I said, when I get people who want to start trading, they tell me they want to trade everything, right? You can't trade everything. You can't be in 5 different vehicles on 5 different terrains at the same time. It's not possible, right? So what is there to trade? All right, let's just do a really quick breakdown so that you guys do understand the different markets. Forex, foreign exchange market. Basically, what is it? It's trading pairs, right? The US versus the euro is obviously has been the most popular one, but there's a many more. And again, you don't want to go into too many pairs, because then you have to do too much research. And the problem with forex is that it's not about the currency, it's about the egos. If one president has like some sort of a problem with another president, while you're sleeping overnight, the currency could go into shambles or whatever. However, technical analysis does help you. So if you only focus on 1 or 2 pairs, you have a much better understanding and more control of what's actually happening. And I love this. Whenever I ask people what they trade, and they're like, stocks. Just in the United States market alone, there's over 5,000 stocks. So you're telling me you're trading stocks? No, you're not. That means you're failing. Look, professional equities traders, they're trading sectors, maybe entertainment, maybe technology, maybe pharmaceuticals, or they're just trading big caps or just small caps. Penny stocks exist. I don't recommend it at all. And there's quite a lot of really good, successful traders that are just trading individual companies. Tesla, Facebook or Meta, Amazon, Apple. It's huge, right? These companies, and they are pros at that. They are experts. They mastered it, and those are very highly volatile stocks and companies. So you could really understand and do really well with that. Futures, another one, right? What do you trade? Oh, I trade futures. What? So you're trading wheat, soy, gold, and the e-minis all at once. They are so different, or crude, so different, right? Again, choose the one thing with futures. Is it wheat? Is it soy? Is it the e-minis? I personally trade the e-minis, which is the S&P 500 index on the futures market. To me, it's the most volatile, the most beautiful moving market. But I've mastered it. I've been doing this now for 11 years. But when I started with it, I decided to look at others, and I came back to that one because that's the one I resonated with the most. So find the one that you enjoy the most and that you're going to enjoy learning, and then you can really hone it and grow with it. Options, another one, right? Options are great, but don't do options and then do options futures or equities or forex. Stick to options. Stick to that one. Learn it. And then if you decide to move on because you're doing that well, wonderful. But don't go there until you are already profitable. And crypto, right? What does that mean, crypto? Oh, I trade Bitcoin. Well, you're not trading crypto overall. You're just trading Bitcoin, because there's 6,000 altcoins and projects on the cryptocurrency market. Which ones are you going to be focusing on? One thing I will tell you guys right now, if you are going into crypto is a very, I'm not even going to talk about how nutty it is. But one thing I can tell you is, do not do leveraging. Do not do leveraging. That means you're 10xing or 100xing. Look, crypto can move erratically in split seconds, and it could stop you out in a quarter of a second and move right back to where you wanted it to be. You don't need to leverage anything that means borrowing money. You want to stay away from that. But again, you guys decide, and you need to get into that zone before you do it real. I'm going to now demystify this whole broker and margin thing, because a lot of people don't realize what a broker does. Imagine going into a jeans store. You want to buy a pair of jeans, right? You go in, you start to look at the jeans. You say, I like that one. There is a person there to literally make that transaction. They don't care if those jeans are too small, too big, if they're anything about the jeans or you. That's the broker. They don't care what you're buying. All they want to do is see you buy. And a lot of times when you're first beginning, a lot of people think that you need to have a broker account first. You don't. The broker should be the last thing that you focus on, because at that point, by the time you are actually ready to do the broker, you are already ready to do a strategy and you already know what you want. Do not be pressured by brokers. And the worst thing that brokers do is margin accounts, that they offer you these perk, feature, benefit margin accounts. No, please. Margin accounts are loan sharking. What is a margin account? Okay, you have this amount of money. You want to buy stocks with this amount of money? Great. We will also loan you or give you a margin account with this much more so that you could use to buy. So if you buy with this margin account and you lose, we don't care. You need to pay us back with interest. Oh, you won? Great. You still need to pay us back with interest. You do not need a margin account. You do not need a margin account. It is a loan sharking. It is highway robbery. I do not at all even think about that. And immediately just say no to margin. Nothing will change with your broker account. They're not going to like you any less or anything. They don't care. Remember that. They don't really care about you. You need to come in with your own skills. And that's the only thing they are good for, is you telling them what you want to buy. And usually, even with online, that's what it is. Okay. Now, understanding the commissions of the live feeds and the quotes. Look, if you're going to be trading futures, do you want to be with a broker that focuses on crypto? No, right? Or if you want to be trading equities, do you want to be with a broker that is trading futures? No, because what happens if you're with equities and you want to do futures, that's not their specialty. So they're going to be charging you a lot more for commissions, right? That's why there are specialized brokers, because they give you the best commissions because that's their thing. And a lot of times you also will have better feed. You need to have live feed. If you're going to be trading live, you cannot have this delayed feed. If you are, then just stop, because you're not going to win. You're going to lose. You need to be in the live market. Think of feed as the gasoline that drives your car. You cannot have gasoline 10 miles from there. In the meantime, you have no gasoline here, right? You need to be able to do it in the moment. Again, back to that platform, guys. You need to have a good platform. That is the only real software you need to get. And today, excuse me, today there are so many incredible platforms. I am happy to help you guys with it. When I first began, there was maybe 3 or 4 in total. Today, I think there's like, I don't know, 30, 40, maybe even 50. And I've seen them all. They all work very similarly. So if you guys need help, I'm really happy to help you out with finding the right platform for the right instrument. Absolutely. Now, everything we do in life, everything we do in life has its own certain lingo, right? My kids, my family are really, really into rock climbing. Like that is their entire life. And my husband and my sons are all rock climbers. And sometimes I'm sitting there and listening, and it's like they're speaking a completely different language, right? But it's English. They're talking about the wall, the rock face that's in front of me. But because that's their thing, they have their own lingo, right? You could also go into the medical fields. Again, totally new lingo, a pilot. The same goes with day trade. And it's absolutely amazing to me the amount of times that people get in with their hard-earned money, with their real money into the live markets, and they don't even understand what's going on. They don't know the difference between buying long, going short, margins, or putting in order weightings, like the basics. You got to stop. You got to learn that lingo, guys. It's pretty basic. I'm going to go over some really simple words now that just these words alone will be able to take you to that next level. First and foremost, intraday trading. That's it. You are literally intraday trading. You're literally in and out of all your positions in the same day. Why is this so important? Because if you hold overnight, you're not an intraday trader. Now, if you're holding overnight or if you're holding for a week, do you really want to be looking at a chart that's 5 minutes? What about if you're intraday trading and you're looking at a chart that's a week? How is that good for you? So if you know that you're an intraday trader, you're going to be looking at the minute chart, the 30-second chart, the 5-minute chart. If you're a swing trader, that means you're holding overnight or a little bit longer. You might be looking at the day chart or even the 3-day chart. right? You have to have the proportionate time for you to be able to do it properly as well. Bull market literally just means the market is going up, nothing else. Bear market, the market's going down. Don't put any more emotional crap into it. The bear is sleeping, the bull, nothing to do with it. I don't remember why they were called that, but it had nothing to do with because the bear hibernates and the bull charges. Nothing to do with that at all, right? Then there are three trends. I know a lot of people know that there's an upward trend and a downward trend, but the thing is there's the sideways trend. And the sideways trend is literally where the majority of our money gets lost. So you need to understand and to be able to read the sideways market. Now, this is so important. Profit, target, and risk management. When you are day trading, your emotions, your ego, everything is going to, all those demons are going to come and get you. What is a profit target and why is it as important as a risk management? Number one, because you would put in a profit target and your greed, and greed will get you, is going to tell you, no, it's going to continue, it's going to continue. You remove the profit target, boom, it turns on you and stops you out because you're smart enough at least to have a risk management, meaning you're telling the market what you want to risk on that particular trade. Now, why don't you do a split target? Get your first profit target, get that money in the bank, and already then you can move on because now you have money in the bank. Don't remove that profit target, guys. And always, always, always have a risk management. Always have a risk management. And going back to that chart, because I will say it again, you cannot be a Formula One driver in a minivan. You got to get yourself a good chart. You cannot be scrolling on, I don't even know, these ridiculous apps if you want to be a pro. Okay, indicators. Good platforms give you free universal indicators. I use 2 indicators, 2. That's it. Because when I first began, I had 10 indicators. I was in constant analysis paralysis. I had 3 monitors. I was always stressing. It was horrible. I literally threw out both of my brand new monitors, removed all my indicators, and I decided on 2 because I started the process of elimination and going one by one to see which one works for me. And that's the other thing. There is this thing that this guru said this one, this guru said that one. You got to go with what's right for you. For years, I was struggling with the Bollinger Bands Fibonacci's because they're, you know, the most popular ones. Once I removed them, I felt like this load lifted off me because they never resonated with me. You got to find the ones that work for you. And again, those trending markets, guys, the sideways market is the most dangerous market of all. And you need to learn how to stay out of it and recognize it because that's where all the money usually gets lost. What is a buy? What is a buy? What is it? Going long. What is this? I'm going to break it down as simple as possible. It's literally you're putting in at a lower price point, exiting at a higher price point, and taking that money in between. That is what you say. That is what you know when it's a buy or going long. Low entry, high exit. Boom. Nothing else. What is a sell? Going short. The exact opposite. You are entering at a higher price point, exiting at a lower price point, and taking that money in between. If you're going to be sitting here, oh my goodness, but somebody just lost this kind of money in that one. Who's that somebody? Who cares about those somebodies? Look, the market is telling you, you got to enter at a short because this is a short right now, the technical analysis. You sit and you do your job. Who cares who these people that are losing? Oh my God, I hear that all the time. Oh, but when I enter here, that means somebody lost. Who's that somebody? Do you think they care about you? No, they don't even know who you are. You don't know who they are. Don't think about anyone but what's in front of you, the technical analysis. Again, let's talk about amateur versus the pro. An amateur will put in a market entry. What does that mean? It means, oh my goodness, wait, the market is going up. I'm going to go here. Zero strategy. It's just, oh, I think so, right? So what does the market do for you? It penalizes you. It's called slippage. It automatically reduces your entry by 20%. So you've already lost 20 to 25% before you even start the trade. That's a market entry because they know you're an amateur. So what does a pro do? They put in a limit order. What does that mean? It means you tell the market where you want to enter. It's the same thing for the stop limit. You tell the market where you want to be stopped out. You are in control. And when the market understands that you're in control, it's a whole different ballgame, right? Because If you're putting in that limit order where you want to enter and it doesn't hit there, it's no big deal. You let it go. You wait for that next valid setup. So that's the difference between a pro and an amateur. Now, I've been talking a lot about technical analysis. Technical analysis is like the language of the market. And interestingly enough, all you need is several basic understandings, which is still part of that lingo, to really understand what's going on. It actually can be that, that simple. So let's talk about technical analysis areas. We have two very important areas, and the market usually respects the areas and revisits them over and over again. We have the resistance and we have the support. What is the resistance area? It is literally where the market is hitting a ceiling, right? It is over and over and over again, hitting that same place over and over again, the ceiling. That is a resistance area. You do not want to be putting in a trade when it's a very, very specific resistance area, because it doesn't matter how strong the market is going to go, it could go down because it's a resistance area. What is a support area? Literally the opposite of that. It is the floor of the market. It is where the market, it's been going down and now it's starting to hit that area over and over and over again, right? You want to stay out until the market gives you a confirmation it's either transitioning to a new direction or breaking out entirely. Reversal patterns. I'm sure you guys have heard of reversal patterns. Double bottoms, triple bottoms, double tops, triple tops, head and shoulders. This to me is my telltale signs. I absolutely live for reversals because they are free. They are spotted on any chart. They are amazing, and they are indications that the market is losing its strength. The last place you want to be is where the market is still strong. You want to be in a weak, when the market is weak, you want to be in the stronger part of that market. But when you're seeing a reversal pattern, that's when it's dying down. Divergence, right? Whatever your indicators are, you'll probably have two separate ones. So as you can see here, my price action is going up. Meanwhile, I personally use the MACDs are going the opposite direction. Does that mean that the market is about to reverse? Absolutely not. But what it does mean is that the market is slowing down, and that the market is losing its strength, and that the market has a higher probability of reversing or going flat into a sideways market. And that tells me to stay out, save my money until the market gives me good confirmation. All right, guys, let's go here. makingofadaytrader.com. Remember, everything I just talked about, you can get it all here right now. Now, I just want to do a really quick understanding for you. When you understand technical analysis, we all know about the breakout trade, right? It's one of the most popular trades out there. So when you have everything in front of you, the resistance area, you're understanding the market, and then you're seeing that breakout, that's when you know where you could enter that breakout, right? It's the continuation, okay? That's when we know where to enter the market. And it's putting everything together to be able to spot those markets, okay? So before I go in a little bit further, I want to just do I want to read what you guys sent me here. I think there's quite a lot of questions. Got to jump. Unfortunately, it's been great. Thank you. Scalping. Don, I personally scalp. So scalping is 100% intraday, and it is super quick in and out trades. I trade scalping. My trades last between 30 seconds to 3 minutes. And even with that quickness, I still only go between 1 to 3 trades, because if you load up with contracts, you could do really, really well. And there could be from, one contract to whatever amount of contracts, because it's still that same strategy. Okay. Price action, because they don't know how to trade. You could lose 100K in a minute. Yes, you can, Don, easily with crypto. Actually, with everything, if you don't know what you're doing, right? The more money you have does not mean the more money you're going to earn. If anything, the more money you're going to end up losing, right? What's his name? Richard Branson always said, if you want to be a billionaire, if you want to be a millionaire in the airline industry, start off as a billionaire, right? So if you want to be a millionaire in the trading industry without understanding how to trade, start off as a billionaire. Just so you guys know, you need to understand what's going on. Okay, Glenn, rather than trading sectors, big caps, do you see any issues with trading the same basket of stocks every day? So exactly, Glenn, right? That's what I was talking about. Amazon, Meta. I mean, you could also have other stocks that you are really, really focusing on. But yes, absolutely. But if you're going to do it, make sure that you're only focusing on one per day, one at that moment, because you can't be focusing on many different stocks with many different strategies at the same time. Our minds are just not programmed to do that at all. Okay. And it's funny because my husband is constantly saying men cannot multitask. So it's amazing to me because I have 3 men in my house and I can tell you for sure they cannot multitask. Yet for some reason, men are trading many different things all at once and thinking that they could do it well, but they don't have that strategy. But when you focus on just the one thing at a time, miracles happen, right? Okay, traders are popping up all over the place. All right, guys. So here's the thing. We have absolutely everything we need to take action, right? Everything, right? We have these beautiful presentations and summits. We have YouTube videos. We have podcasts. We have books. There's all these amazing things. But at the end of the day, how do you know that you are doing it right? How do you know that you're doing it right? How? How are you understanding that? Because all of this is great, but the real question is, how do I really get started, right? Because there's all this information out there. And this isn't only from beginners that I'm getting these questions. A lot of seasoned traders who've been trading for years and are still losing money ask me, how can I finally become consistent, profitable consistently, right? And that's the most important thing. And honestly, guys, it's usually lacking the understanding of the basics. A lot of times we hop in. It's kind of like going back to the music analogy, the music student analogy, right? Imagine your child finally decides they want to learn how to play the flute. They arrive to the academy to take the first class, how to hold a flute, how to blow into a flute. But instead of going into that class, they're literally thrown into the symphonic pit and are expected to keep up with the profession. It's not possible. And I find that the majority of times that is what's happening with the trading industry, that a lot of people don't want to talk about the basics because it makes it seem like it's too rudimentary, but it's not. Because if you don't have the basics, you can't build anything else. And that's really what I find a lot of times people don't get it. So my 19-year-old son just learned how to drive recently. And my husband and I were teaching him how to drive, and it was incredible. We jumped in the car and we're like, okay, put on your seatbelt, put your foot on the clutch and the brake, and make sure that the gear is out of neutral into first to move. He's like, wait, clutch, brake, gear. These are the basics of driving. But when you've never done that before, it's completely new to you, right? He can't drive. He can't be in the Grand Prix if he doesn't even know how to remove his foot from the clutch, right? And it's the same thing. Imagine, even today, there are people who have never been in a car, get into your car and you're like, okay, buckle up. It's going to save your life. And they're like, buckle up. What do I buckle? What is that? It's going to save my life. But if you've never been taught the easiest thing, the seatbelt, you're not going to be able to know the one thing that could truly save your life, right? And that's what it's all about. And this was my own personal sad truth. I spent over $20,000 on my different trainings, on all sorts of stuff. Oh my goodness, so much. But I was never taught the basics. And I was struggling for years, losing money to the point where I lost almost $4,000 in 5 minutes. Why? Because every time I brought up, hey, can you please explain the divergence? Or what can you show me how to build this resistance area? Or I was either ignored or treated as if I was supposed to be born with this information. And you're not. None of us are born with any of that information. And because of that, because I almost lost that much money, I quit. I ended up quitting. I was so frustrated and struggling. And it was just painful, to be honest with you. I quit. But here's the thing, guys. Every single person who is sitting here right now in this room, every single person, we are all bit by the trading bug, right? And it does not ever stop itching. And do you know why it does that? Because deep down inside, we all know that we can do this. That's the thing. We all know that we can do this. That's all it takes, is knowing that we can and just making that one tiny little leap. And that's exactly what I did. I came back after I quit. Like I said, I threw out 2 of my monitors, completely removed all my indicators. It was on naked price action only. And then I slowly started to put in the price, the indicators, understanding, and just truly connecting with the basics. And I did that for years. And funny enough, a couple of years ago, one of my students comes up to me and says to me, he's like, Marina, you really remind me of Coach John Wooden's whole philosophy and teaching style. And I was like, who's Coach John Wooden? I've never heard of this man, right? So of course I Googled him up, and he was the legendary coach of basketball for UCLA. Completely, I mean, I don't think anybody to this day has even come close to his brilliance and the way he taught. And his entire teaching philosophy was, when in doubt, get back to the basics. And I mean, this guy won 88 championships in a row, 10 or 11 NCAAs. I mean, this guy worked with superstars and was above the rest. But every season, he would start them with the basics. How to tie your shoe, how to roll up your sock, how to dribble your ball. Why? Because it doesn't matter all that you think you know, because ego is going to tell you that you think you know all of this. It doesn't matter if you're on that court, your shoe is not tied properly, it falls off, slips, and you trip or whatever, and you break your ankle or you sprain your ankle. Guess what? You're out on the sidelines for the rest of the season, right? So you got to get back to the basics. And today I have a very special offer only to the participants that are here right now. This offer is never to anybody else. It's my introductory course, Bootcamp for Day Trading. You could do this on any apparatus, laptops, desktops, tablets, phones, you name it, on any. And all of this, you'll get $97 one time price, one time. It's not continuance, it's one time, $97. You could go here right now, bootcampfordaytrading.com. So go into your URL and you can follow along exactly all that you guys are going to be getting with this special price. Bootcampfordaytrading.com. Go there right now, bootcampfordaytrading.com. Now, what can you get for $97 that is going to bring you the same return on investment today? You guys like to play golf? Me and my husband really enjoy playing golf. And when we first moved to Guatemala 15 years ago, we used to go to this really beautiful golf course, and it was like $25 per person. Before we left, it was $119 per person. Okay, $119 per person. How about going out to lunch, going out to eat? I don't know about you guys, but $97 maybe could get you two people a decent lunch today, right? $97 does not go far, but look at all that you're going to be getting for $97. You could go and read along with me at bootcampfordaytrading.com. First of all, the simplified day trading package, right? We're going to go through the whole simplification of it. Also, like I mentioned before, I have seen all charting softwares, and I know that they could be, a little bit of a learning curve to figure out. So I have that covered for you. 30-minute, we're going to have a complete tutorial, and I will be working and helping you guys set it up so that you can start doing the fun stuff, the trading. You're not going to be focusing on anything else. We're going to be talking about dissecting the markets, understanding those trending markets, understanding those beautiful magic telltale signs, reversal areas, divergences, truly understanding what they do and how to read them. And once you get it, the aha moments are amazing. We're going to learn about how to spot those areas, understanding how to work with divergences, because divergences to me are the holy grail for everything. And how to spot the breakouts, because like I said before, the breakouts are the most powerful trades out there. Okay, and how to avoid the fake out breakouts, because those things happen and they are completely avoidable if you understand what you're looking for. And you'll get an unlimited access for life to this curriculum, which is priceless. All this is valued at $1,600. Okay, you'll get all of this, how to set up your platforms, understanding, dissecting the markets, all the trends, respecting those areas, the breakouts. And here's what some of my students have said to me. And I have students from all over the world, because trading we could do from all over the world. So here's what Michelle said. I just finished the boot camp. Best money I ever spent. Derek, you're the only mentor that truly checks the work and really works with me. I am so enjoying the boot camp. I am learning every single day. But let me share something super important with you. Remember how I asked you guys in the beginning? How do you know you're doing it right? How do you know you're doing it right? Here's the thing, guys. if you don't have somebody who's accountable, you're accountable to, somebody you're working with, checking your charts, really helping you, it's going to be hard for you to really know that. I am including in that $97 one entire month, unlimited one-on-one mentorship. So you can ask me any questions, whatever you need, included in that. Having a mentor can literally be that difference that will take you to the top. And I have the best for last. I also run a live trade chat room where it's me. It's not any moderator, it's not an admin, where we go over everything that we are learning together through the one-on-one, through the course, and it's a live, how to take those trades, implementing, taking live trades, and that is included 1 month membership in that. All this is valued at $2,600. You get it for the one price, one time, one fee, $97. So go to bootcampfordaytrading.com. Go here right now, and you can follow along right here. All right, you're doing it right when you are profitable. What annualized returns have you achieved over the past years? Steve, that is such a general question. It's impossible to say in one quick way. I am completely profitable. I trade 30 to 45 minutes per day. I'm happy to talk to you more privately. Absolutely. Send me an email and I'm happy to show you all that you need to see. Okay, guys, let me know if there's any other questions, but go here, bootcampfordaytrading.com. You can describe to us what is your step process to the choose. Yes, sorry, all of those. If your course will be to market. Yes, so I do offer the mentorship. Okay, because here's the thing, guys, because of my mentorship that you're be getting, so everything you're going to get in this course for $97 is right here. Okay, oops, hang on a second, which is actually the bottom line is less than one trade, right? It's less than the one trade that you will be taking, because we all know that one trade usually is around $200 to $300. $97, okay, so that you guys could get all this and so much more. Okay, so here's the thing, because of the mentorship program, I could only take 25 people, because I could only truly focus my time on that many people, and because there are so many people in this room, I know that it will be sold out super fast. So I really recommend you guys hop on this right now. So if you go here, bootcampfordaytrading.com, this is where you're going to be coming to right here. $97 one-time payment. And if you really want to do payment plan, I have for 2 months, $59, but you still get everything you need. Okay, guys? So go here. Honestly, let's do this. It's fun and you'll be enjoying it, and we will work together. Okay? Let me know if there's any questions at all. And thank you so much for taking your time to be here and listening, and just, taking the time to really invest in yourselves and learn, right? And I know that you guys could do this. So thank you. And thanks again for having me.